How about you?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for showing up. I am a district county supervisor, Juan Miguel Martinez, for District 12. Today, we're here to honor the kids from Youth Empowered in the Struggle. I'm very happy to have them here, as I am with other members of the board. I first encountered the Youth Empowered in the Struggle kids a few years ago when I had heard about what they were doing. I had always been very involved with student action, and I really always felt that student action is the way to get things done because you're changing your immediate environment. They remind me a lot of the kids from 1968 in the East LA walkouts, something that really inspired me to get into what I do nowadays. Being around them and seeing what they wanted to change is something that's always been very inspiring to me. They've been working together as students, but they have had leaders with them as well, showing what they want to do. They want to change the school lunches that have been provided for them, showing that it's not been something that has been nutritious for them, as well as providing options for kids, like halal options, vegetarian options, and things like that. And seeing them in action is something that's been very inspiring for me. And I'd like to present right now their director, Ari Antrician. Here he.
Hello everyone, I'm Ari Antrician and I am the director of YES. And I just want to say thank you to Supervisor Clancy and Supervisor Martinez for their support and for showing up for these students. I'd like to say that our YES members, many of them not present today, I'm very proud of them for the work that they've done to this point. And we know that the work is going to continue. I just want to say these students have worked very hard starting at the beginning of this school year, talking with their peers and trying to identify what are some of the key issues that matter to them, and not like without any outside interference, like just students, what matters to them. And so I'm very proud of them for how they've developed this campaign and gone public with their demands for better school lunch. And just with that, I'd like to present one of our student leaders, William Pickard from Hamilton High School, to say a few words. Thank you.
Hi, I'm William Pickard, and on behalf of Youth Empowered in the Struggle, I would like to thank the County Board for this act of solidarity and publicity supporting our food first demands. In particular, we would like to thank Supervisor Martinez and Supervisor Clancy for putting forward the resolution of support. We are calling upon our allies of the... One sec. Okay, my bad. Calling upon our allies' support and take the action with us to ensure that students at MPS receive lunches that are nutritious and appealing and culturally relevant. We ask that you meet with us, YES leaders, to discuss ways that we can work together and ensure that MPS support for our demands can become a reality. Thank you.
So my name is Ryan Clancy. I'm the County Supervisor for District 4. This is super awkward because I want to be standing behind you, both metaphorically and actually, but these words are for the students behind me, not necessarily for the cameras. They might not make great sound bites. But I am so impressed with the work that I've seen from these students. And it's very different from my own high school experience. When I was, many years ago, when I went to Nicolay High School, I started a student newspaper and was almost expelled from that school. We had one teacher who, behind the scenes, kind of passed me a note and said, we see what you're doing and we appreciate it, but it wasn't until a bunch of lawyers actually stood up to keep me from being expelled that I felt supported. But I have never seen adults willing to step up and support student work and student voices like I saw with YES. So I am incredibly grateful to the students behind me, but also to the student advisors, to the supporters. You have John, you have Ari, who are not doing the work and then, or dictating the work and then asking the students to do it. They are supporting student-led work. And this drive and these demands come from the young people standing behind me and others. And I really want to point that out. It is something exceptional, and it is something that MPS and other folks need to take seriously. These are the demands of the students, and they are reasonable and they are just. I also want to point out that it is no accident that we're here in front of a building and an archway that says justice on it, because I know that we have phenomenal organizers that are not going to stop with just this item. They're not going to stop with just the idea of food justice in MPS, but in food justice and justice generally. A little bit further past this is the Milwaukee County Jail. And it wasn't long ago that I spent time in the jail, and I asked every single person, every resident there, if you could change one thing about this jail other than not being here, what would it be? And can you guess? And I thought I was going to get big answers, and I did, but almost every single person mentioned one thing. Can you guess what that is? It was food, right? And I was stunned. I was like, you're incarcerated here for weeks, months, maybe years, and your biggest concern is food, and it is, because food is a basic human right. We should be able to take food for granted, but whether we're at the jail, whether we're at the House of Corrections, whether we're at MPS, we can't do that yet. And I'm hoping that the folks pushing for food justice in the jail and HOC, and the young people behind us pushing for food justice in MPS can understand that there's intersectionality, that we're stronger together. And I cannot wait to see what these young people do, what they organize around in the future. So again, thank you for your work. Thank you for your work advising and supporting them. And thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it on now to Supervisor Martinez.
Thank you so much. So yeah, these kids really do understand that unionism, and not just in the labor sense or anything like that, is what causes for everything to really change. It is a collective struggle that brings us together, and they understand that. Today we're presenting them with this citation here, which I'm going to read. Whereas Youth Empowered in the Struggle is the youth arm of Voces de la Frontera with a focus on amplifying the voices of youth in schools and communities across Milwaukee. And whereas noticing a strong deficit in substantial meals provided to schools, Yes surveyed more than 1,000 public Milwaukee students and determined their most pressing issues within the school environment to be lunches served. And whereas with their newfound data, Yes circulated a petition calling for Milwaukee Public Schools to provide more freshly cooked, locally sourced lunch options and larger portions, considerate of students' religious, medical, and personal dietary needs, which garnered over 21,000 signatures from individuals in the community. And whereas on March 31st, 2022, Yes implemented their school lunch justice campaign and held a demonstration outside of Milwaukee Public Schools central offices. And whereas on April 22nd, 2022, Yes received a response to their concerns from the Milwaukee Public School Board of Directors that stipulated a plan to spend $290,000 in the next budget year to hire 3 new chefs and diversify lunch menus throughout the Milwaukee Public School system. And students and families across Milwaukee County applaud the individuals of Yes for their fortitude to always advocate marginalized groups regardless of the length of time it takes to achieve the goal. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors, on the motion of Supervisor Ryan Clancy, along with Supervisors Peter Bergelis, Priscilla E. Cogs-Jones, Willie Johnson Jr., Sean Rollins, Stephen Shea, Liz Sumner, Sequana Taylor, Kathleen Vincent, Sheldon A. Wasserman, Chairman Marcelia Nicholson, do hereby commend Youth Empowered in the Struggle for their dedicated efforts and contributions to the community and wish them continued success in their advocacy work. And we'd like to present, of course, the resolution here. If you'd like to take it, here you go. All right. And that's it.
That's great. Any questions for either the young, the organizers, supporters, or us? Hopefully not us.
Yeah, I want to talk to the students.
Perfect. Yeah, get out of here.
Sure.
Tell the student who's one of you can speak. What set it off? I mean, were you at school one day and you just said, I'm tired of eating this? What set it off where you guys came together and said, it's done?
What I would say, what inspired me about the lunches is how Some of them are still half frozen when they're served to us. They're ice cold, and they're just not really that good. Some of the fruit that they give us, they say it's fresh, it's frozen, because early in the morning, sometime in May, I was getting breakfast. There was only frozen oranges and frozen apples, and they put it in a metal tin, so that was just making it even colder. And I was like, I'm tired of this. It's just really bad, honestly. So yeah,
What grade are you in?
I'm gonna be a junior this year.
And where do you go to school?
Hamilton,
And your name is?
Eliza,
Eliza. What's your last name?
Palacios.
Okay, so Eliza, after that happened, then did you talk to friends and say, I'm tired of, like, I looked at this and said, why are we doing this? I mean, you got a lot of signatures on the petition, so at some point, you came with other friends or students and said something else, right?
Yeah, I came with other friends and students and friends of my friends, and I also even talked to some teachers, them even saying, yes, it's really bad, we know, but we just have to stay focused.
Why do you think you deserve better food?
We deserve better food and fresher food because we think as students that would help us focus more in class and also help us comprehend more stuff that the teacher is saying.
So, moving forward, I don't know if students can answer this. Is this going to be implemented come fall? I heard about chefs, but I'm not sure. Like, when is this ball going to get rolling?
So far, where we're at in our campaign is we're going to the nutrition department to talk about these issues. We have 6 issues, and only one of them so far has been resolved, which was regular meetings with the board, and that's been accomplished. Our goal is to get those other 5 down, and we plan to do it relatively soon. Yeah.
So you'd like to see change come the next school year, which is soon.
Yes. Next school year, we want change. I won't rest till it happens.
And how old are you?
15.
Okay. So you're sophomore or junior?
I'm sophomore.
Anyone else that wants to speak on what Eliza said first? Is about her own personal with the frozen food or anything else that maybe personally spurred you on to. Or you guys put out a survey, right? And then it came back and it was food was the main issue, right?
I guess if anyone just wants to give some details about the survey, I mean, were you surprised that food was the #1 concern? Just kind of some details about what you learned about what students talk about with food options.
So, food being a #1 concern, it's been a thing for a while. It's been around forever. People complaining school lunch isn't that good. You see it everywhere. You see it on the internet. You see it on. It's something that I've always thought had to change. And talking to my friends about it, it's been a common sentiment. Food isn't that good. I've had friends with not cooked food. I've had friends with completely frozen milk cartons. When they needed milk, wanted to drink, that kind of thing. And it's just consistently subpar to what should be given to us as people.
William, did you have a moment where you're like, okay, you have to do something about this? Was there a breaking point for you?
It just kind of happened after time after time. I would be going to lunch and there just wouldn't be anything that would be even edible to me. It'd be something where I wouldn't eat all day. And I grew up in a poor household, so consistently that means I'd go hungry at home and then stay hungry till the next day, hoping there's something good to eat. And it's not the best, which is why change is required. Yep.
Thanks for coming